Dodge this.
Hey guys, it's Miller43. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the jobs I've had. Now I've already done an episode on this and this is where the shit gets real. I'm not kidding guys. This story I'm going to try and not mention any names whatsoever. So it could be slightly confusing to some of you, but hopefully you guys should be alright. So this is a job where I used to work in a shop, right? It's a pretty normal sized shop. 5 tills, I'd say. It's a sort of a miniature supermarket. That's how I'm going to label it. And the characters you need to know for this story are the night manager, my friend number 2, and girl worker. Okay, so pretty simples in terms of characters, 4 characters. But let's begin. So basically, I started off this job, and for whatever reason, this night manager did not like me. So, you know, when every opportunity she got, she would make some remark, she would, you know, make some kind of face, kind of put me down. And this was through no fault of mine. She just, for whatever reason, she just didn't like me. And I wasn't the only one. She decided she didn't like a couple other people that worked there. There was about 20 people that worked at this store. And, you know, there was a select few that she didn't like. And unluckily for me, I was one of them. And she was the night manager. So, you know, usually I'd be like, yo, you ain't got nothing on me. You know, I wouldn't let that happen. I wouldn't let people sort of say those sort of remarks at me. But she was my manager, and I wanted to keep my job, so I just let it roll onto the shoulder and sort of brushed it off. So the story sort of begins sort of as I get my supervisor job. So I was just one of those regular people who would put stuff through the shop, put stuff on the shelves, and then scan things on the till. Like, pretty standard job. Minimum wage, nothing special. You do minimum work for minimum wage. That's pretty much how it rolled. And then about 2 months later, I'd say, the actual manager, not the night manager, the actual manager came up to me and was like, yo Ollie, do you want to be supervisor? And basically what a supervisor is someone who watches over the regular stuff. You know, pretty self-explanatory. And I would sort of communicate with the night manager. You know, I'd communicate, share, you know, basically dob people in if I had to. I never did actually, but you know, sort of a second in command sort of a thing. And at this store, you know, my personality is sort of, if I'm told to do something, I'll just get on and do it. And if it's something I care about, no, let me restart. Unless it's something I care about, I'll let somebody else take charge. I'll be like, whatever. The job I got at the moment, there was this kid who's on like a 4-hour contract, and I'm on like an 8-hour contract. I do a lot more than that. But basically, this kid, he's still on his like probation period where he's learning stuff, and he's been driving to other stores doing extra work, and I've been like, he's been telling me what to do. I'm like, cool, whatever. I don't really care. I don't care about this job. You obviously do. So you can sort of, so basically at this job I used to have, I just let people get on with it, and I was not a second in command kind of guy. I just took the role. There was no extra money for it, so fuck it, I wasn't going to do any extra work. Now this is where it gets real. So this went on for a couple of months, right? And the remarks that kept coming, the comments kept coming. You know, the faces, Ollie's shit, all of this stuff, and you know, I still continue to brush it off my shoulder. And after a couple of months, one of my friends who also works at the store, friend number 2, he comes up to me and he's like, hey Ollie, the other night I stepped out to the delivery sort of area, and I saw in my peripheral vision the night manager and the delivery guy sort of very close together. Now I don't know whether I saw anything or whatnot, but after I came in, and like 10 minutes later, the night manager came up to me and was like, did you see anything? And she kind of got in my face, and I was like, oh, right, well that's interesting. That's interesting to know. Thanks for telling me, friend number 2. And you know, I also, after being told this, I kept seeing them acting suspicious together, you know, disappearing for lengths of time and coming back. And, you know, being a supervisor, I don't sort of work with other people. I work on my own, and I sort of dot around the place doing sort of my own little thing. And you know, working on you start thinking, don't you? You're just like, is something going on between those two? Am I just being overly suspicious? And you know, in no shape or form did I sort of see this as an opportunity to screw her over. Like, at one point I did think, man, I guess I could use it as, like, I could walk in one day and be like, bitch, either you start licking my feet and treating me with some respect around here, or I'm gonna start telling people you're doing this delivery guy. Well, I never did that, but the asshole in me did think to do that. So yeah. Now, I went and consoled one of my friends who works at a different store, quite locally though. And he was like, Ollie, just let it blow over. You're not going to work there for the rest of your life. You know, this is going to be it's not going to really matter. Just let it go. I was like, that's a good call. I'll just let it blow over. And that sort of thing. Now, I went in, like, one day, and she comes up to me. She goes, Ollie, can I see you in the office for a second? And I was trying to keep a straight face. I was like, yeah, sure, yeah, no problem, yeah, sure. Actually thinking, no, you fucking can't. I'm not going in a room with you. Now, this woman is not one of those women who you would expect to be wearing a princess dress or holding flowers, or she was just not your conventional, I don't know, ladylike woman. She was quite aggressive. You know, she managed to scare the crap out of me a few times. But anyway, so we walk into this little office. I mean, it was small, and she goes, sit down. And I go, no, I'm good standing. She goes, sit down. So, you know, I was like, okay, fine, I'll sit down. She closes the door really slowly and has this look on her face like, you are in some fucking shit, boy. And I was just like, Ollie, relax. You don't know anything, just act like you have no idea what's going on. So that's exactly what I did. I just sat there, like, with a smile on my face and kind of suspected nothing. And you could see, like, she was looking at my eyes and I was looking at hers, and it was just like, you're bullshitting. No, you're not. It's like, you're bullshitting. No, I'm not. All this stuff. And you could kind of see a conversation in our eyes. And so, yeah, she closed the door. She sat down. No, she didn't. She leaned against this desk, right, in this kind of aggressive manner. And she said, what are you telling people? I was like, what? What do you mean, what am I telling people? In my head, I was like, shit, I'm in trouble. And she was like, what have you told people? I was like, I haven't said it, like, what the hell? I haven't said anything to anyone. Like, I just keep my head down. And she goes, that's fucking bullshit, boy. Start talking the truth. I was like, I honestly have no idea what you're talking about. And she was like, okay, so you want to do this the hard way? And I was like, it depends. What weapons do you have on you? She said, just stop fucking joking around. Do you want to do this the hard way? I was like, I suppose. She goes, right, so here's the actual truth, you little fucker. I was like, alright, jeez. So she goes, I was like, I am in such shit. She goes, you have been telling your friend who works at this other store. I was like, fuck, I'm gonna kill him. And she goes, he, okay, decided to shout at another employee who works at this store that we both worked at. Oh, how's the night manager? Is she still sleeping with the delivery guy? Now, in my head, I was like, that's no big deal. Like, this girl knew that something was going on anyway. And then she brings out the A's card and goes, my fucking daughter was in that store when he yelled that out. And it, like, you could just see, like, if you watched that on a TV program, you would have seen my body sink. I was just like, oh my god, I am in trouble. And, like, she was like, my daughter ran out crying in the store because she thinks her mummy is now sleeping with another man. I was just like, oh, this doesn't look good. And I said, look, night manager, I said her name, I really wouldn't go telling people about other people's business. I don't know you on a personal level. I don't know you on, like, a intellectual level. We're just colleagues. I wouldn't go talking to my personal friends about you. And she goes, that's bullshit. I know exactly what you've been saying. I was like, honestly, I really wouldn't. And I bullshitted for about 5 minutes straight, right? 5 minutes straight of lying. And this is testament to how well I can lie, because she eventually turned around and started believing me. She goes, okay, well, who did tell them? Who did say this? Who told this boy who works at this other store? And I was like, thank fuck, I've got away with it. Thank you, Jesus. And you know, it kind of went from her being angry at me to me turning into her counselor. Like, she sat down in the chair next to me and she started crying. Now, she is a woman who is aggressive and puts this, you know, bravado about her. And she breaks down in tears, cries, and all this stuff. And I was just like shit, you know someone, and then they just, like, this sort of thing happens, you know? And they're just crying, and it was really shocking. And then she brought out another card. And for me, this is the card that will remain on my table for the rest of my life. She goes, Ollie, I'm not worried what other people think of me. I'm terrified of my husband. I was like, okay, sort of, you know, I'm understanding, let's hear it. And she said, if he finds out, he's going to physically kill me. He's been in jail before, and he's done it before, and he will kill me if he finds out. And, you know, essentially, I felt like this was my fault. Now, I don't know if whatever happened did happen, like what she said happened. Like, I left the room and I had a massive go at my friend. I was like, you absolute bastard, you realise what you've done? And he said that didn't happen. So I don't know whether she made up that story. And even if, you know, I don't even know if she was doing anything with this driver. All I had was hearsay and suspicion. And to be honest, if she was cheating on her husband, then I can kind of understand why. And all of this stuff that, you know, I had an opinion of her, that she was this aggressive woman who, you know, was apparently cheating on her husband. In actual fact, it kind of turned around and looked like she was this petrified woman with not many options. And you know, it was a lesson learnt for me. You know, don't judge a book by its pages, not by the first chapter anyway. So yeah, really get to know people before you judge them. That's my motto. Okay guys, it's been Ollie43. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and let me know what you would have done in this situation. I'm kind of interested. Subscribe if you haven't already, and take care. Peace.